So welcome to Neotop Masters. Let's try some of these old classic arcade games and see maybe people will enjoy these. I'll try not to do it in too much of a review kind of a way. Just show the gameplay, talk a little bit about the game, and let people decide if they want to try the game themselves. So here you see the intro and tutorial. Yeah, it's a golf game, but the thing is, it's not a golf simulator. It's more of a golf video game, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's got all the tropes of the genre. You got your power meter, and you got your hooks and slices, and you got your spins. But it's a very entertaining golf game, and I thought we'd start off with a 3-credit run. And we are gonna do the one-player mode here. There are stroke and match play options for 2 people. The other one is a little bit more competitive, where the loser loses a life, basically. And otherwise you just credit feeding. For our first character, checking out the stats, we're just gonna go pick up Robert Lando. And let's go for the first challenging course here, Germany. I'll show you the character's features when we get to them. Robert here is titled the Shot Maker. And we're starting off at the 17th place. Let's see how far we can take it on 3 credits. Actually, we still have 3 credits left, but let's take 2 continuous max. Okay. What we can do is we can control our shot, but the first shot is straight. And you see the minimap there, super important. But let's do our first hit. A little bit over nice, but not much. A long drive then. Okay, what we have left? We have 143 left, recommending a club of 150. So we should do a little bit shorter or go a little high on the pitching wedge. Let's do the 9 iron and go a little short. How much? Maybe this much? And see if we don't overshoot. We didn't. So this is one of the key differences between characters. You see the putting meter there? Yeah. The little indicators there, they are different for every character. Robert actually has a finely grained putting meter. So even though his putting stat isn't the greatest, he's got an excellent putting meter. And now that we hit a birdie, we don't lose a life here. Some of the characters have very wide indicators for putting strength. And when you play with those characters, you have a harder time in hitting the perfect putt. But then, different characters struggle at different things. And Robert here, he struggles on the putt. Not on the putt, on the rough and on the sand. And that's a extra strength perfect shot. As you see, the meters don't move super fast in this game, so it's pretty easy to be consistent. The real challenge comes from the courses. Wind is to the left just a tiny bit, so we'll compensate a little. We made it over the hump there. The greens can get pretty rough. The height differences are pretty large, in a sense. So getting close to the hole, of course, super beneficial. And as you see, I'm putting 1 power over the optimum there. That's usually good for Robert Lando. For the characters with very high, finely graduated putting meters or regular putting meters, you want to do a little bit over optimal strength. That way you'll be sure that the ball reaches. The hole number 3 here has a closest to the pin contest, 2 meters. But what this hole really does is it teaches you about ball control. So you want to have spin here. If I go full strength, we're gonna shoot over, but we're gonna shoot really high. And the spin of the ball is gonna drop the ball short, or it's gonna give us a little less runoff. Wasn't a great shot, but the idea is you go high and the ball will stop quicker on the green, but we had too much power. And now we have the sandwich. And it's a 100-meter lob. I'd rather putt. It says that we should do a little less than half a meter, but we are in the rough, so actually we're gonna do almost full power. And man, was that a bad decision. I thought we'd be slowed down more by the rough there, but it didn't slow us enough. We've got a downhill leftward trending curve, so compensate to the right and do a little less than regular power. Yeah, should have had more power there. So, didn't do well on the first challenging course. We got a bogey and that's gonna cost us a life. As you see, I haven't played this in a long time. It's a pretty well-known arcade game, that's for sure. But it's been falling a little bit to the wayside. Sometimes people do mention Neo Turf Masters. I think it's also called Big Tournament Co. I wonder if we can make this shot. I wanna get to the left of that bunker. Actually went over it, so good luck there. Anyway, like I was saying, the game used to be pretty popular, I think. It's pretty well known in the retro community, I suppose, but not many newer players have been flocking to it, I think. So that's why I thought maybe we'd play an introductory game. And I expected the ball to go a little bit further, it did not, and now we are in the sand. And as you see, Robert there has a lot of that red. If you hit the meter on the red, what happens is you're gonna whiff and miss your shot. 50%. A little high. It doesn't go all the way to the top. So now we have a challenging putt ahead of us. The grain is to the right, so the ball wants to go to the right. Also, the shape of the hill forces to the right, so we're gonna compensate left quite a bit, and we have a hill. So we're gonna go high on strength. Should be good. And it's absolutely is not good. Absolutely a terrible putt. Okay. A little bit less of an overcompensation here. And that's par. Well, that's gonna be our first credit. So if you fail to do a birdie, you lose a life. And 3 is all you get per coin. We're not gonna credit feed this game without any sense to it. I mean, we're not gonna do full courses with just credit feeding. We are gonna be doing, I think, all the courses, and we're gonna be doing them on 3 credits, see how far we go. So 2 continues here. You should do a safety, optimal. It's 460 yards, and we can swing for 270, so straight to the water. Maybe with a full power swing we might make it across to the other side. Let's try that. Let's do full power. A little low and see if it clears the water. And it won't clear the water. Yeah. Had we hit the ground, we might have had a bounce over. But that 1 stroke penalty means that we are doomed to lose a life here. Okay, 205 on a 210 club. Oh, that's a perfect 100%. Compensate a little by going high. Yeah, would have been a nice approach had we not hit the water. So you're starting to see the challenge in the game is very much in the club selection. And your caddy? Yeah, your caddy is not actually super helpful. They'll keep recommending kind of rubbish clubs, to be honest. That's a par 4, and we hit a par, so... We have 2 holes left. Bogeys cost a life. On pars, you remain stable and you get an extra life on birdies, so... Yeah, there's a tree in the way. It's very possible to hit a tree. I think the wind is gonna... Let's go... Let's do this. Let's hook a little bit and go to the right. And that's the 100% perfect shot. Good on control. Nice hook. Avoided the tree, avoided the sand trap there. You might hate or enjoy the music. It's certainly very high pitched. Oh, too much power. Go real high. Yeah, we are on the green, so we get to use the putter effectively. We get the putting screen, but overshooting here is a real problem. You have this huge hill on top of it to get on top of. And if you misjudge your power, well, you're just gonna be on the other side of that huge hill. So, failed for that birdie attempt. At least we got the birdie putt, so we had a chance there. Do 1 power over meter. And in it goes for par. And I think I spoke out of turn when I said that the par would not cost you a life. I think it actually does, yeah. So par will cost you a life, and a boat will cost you an extra life, so 2. And you'll get a new life for birdies. So ideally, in order to 1 credit this game, you will need to do pars all the way. Here. On course number 7, the approach is actually super difficult, since there are so many trees in the way. And it's 242 yards off, so a little high because of the trees. Hit a tree, made it to the deep rough. Not great. It's a par 5 though, so a good chip here will save us. At least it goes up, starts off as nice. And we are close. Judge the power there well. You lose roughly half of your meter on the deep rough and a quarter for the regular rough. Grain helps and the hill hinders, let's do a regular putt. We were close enough to get the birdie. So good result there. It's possible to eagle this hole though. Now we don't use our last continue here. We start to strike back at 8th place. No player name entry here for the game. A bit of a leap of faith this hole. You go high, hit the tree, slowed us down. We were going over, quite a bit over, probably due to the wind. So do take wind into account when you're playing Neo Turf Masters. Okay. Worked. Had we gone to the left or to the right, we would have skirted the hole, but we hit it straight on, so the extra power didn't fly us over the top. You have to go quite fast, hit quite hard, in order to miss the hole if you hit dead on, like we did. And as you see, with a few credits, or if you are any good at the game, you actually get quite a long play time on Neo Turf Masters. So a very relaxed arcade gaming experience. Being past the tree is not a problem. Being in front of a tree is a huge problem. So we can just go straight ahead. It's 168 on a 170 club, so we go do just a little under. Oh, we did way too much. Okay, let's go super high. Yeah, that's gonna fly straight over. Not that far though. Good result. It's gonna push us to the left of the screen, so we compensate the right of the screen and go 1 over. Now we go straight. A little bit of a missed input there. Wanted to go 1 over power, but that's fine. When you are close enough, you actually can do just perfect strikes, but if you're very far from the hole, usually having 1 extra power is beneficial. Okay, after 9 holes, we are 32 out of 36. And there's a 302 yard longest drive contest. On Robert Lando it's possible to hit it. just do an overpowered nice shot. Hit the sand, lost the runoff, so didn't get it. Okay, here. Ideally you want to do a safety. So it's 200 and yeah, of course we want to do a safety. So let's say that it's 190 to the edge there. And now we can do a high approach onto the par. Onto the green, not the par. Hope we do better than the par. 107, okay. And we need to go high because there are trees here. That's solid. And a good shot. So I think you're starting to get an idea what this game is about, right? The first stage, Germany, is pretty simple, but the levels do tend to get a little bit crazier when you get to the other areas of the game, and I'll show those off after we're done with these credits. Maybe we can even complete this, probably not though. 193 rest at the top left compared to the 190 club, so we should be okay with just high power and a high hit. The thing I forgot to consider though is that it's on a hill. Yeah, the hole there is on this huge hill, and now we have a problem because we didn't hit hard enough to account for the elevation. We have to do this huge high hit, and we barely made it. Any less power and we wouldn't have been able to do it. So now we did a proper accounting for the height difference there. Definitely a challenging aspect of the game. Very possible to birdie this hole on a nice approach. We did not, and we are gonna use our last continue here on Germany, and let's see how we do. We get 3 holes. And how many do we have left? I think 9. No, we have 8 courses left. Are there 18 in total with 7 courses left? Let's say 70 left and 3 lives, so we need to do 4 birdies. Par 4 is a birdie approach and a birdie putt. We don't think we can drive here. Let's see if I judged my distance accurately. I absolutely did not, and we are in the heavy rough. And with that mistake, we need to do a safety here. Do a pitch, get back onto the fairway, and hit for the bar here. We're gonna slice our way onto the green, and the wind is gonna be a little against us. Yeah, it pushed us, and the slice pushed us all the way to the right, so not a great approach. Even a par is going to be a challenge here, a definite challenge, but maybe here, maybe 3 over. 2 over. Let's see if it makes it. It does. So, saved the par, could have been worse. But now you're starting to see, with mediocre play, you are struggling to keep up your lives. Definitely a game that feels easy, is easy to start, but is a hard to master kind of game, where getting that perfect result every time is actually super difficult. Here, avoiding the trees is the key. Let's see if we make it with this shot. Yeah, we made it past the tree and the green. We hit the tree a little bit, but we have 92 yards left, so we are good. We are good. A little underpower. Oh, it's too much. Let's go high. To compensate a little. And the ball stopped nicely. So, no runoff there. And you see the shape of the green here? It's gonna push us to the right of the screen. So we are compensating. And we are going uphill just ever so slightly. And you saw the ball starting to curve there. It curves quite heavily. So you can think of the greens as pretty hilly in a sense. Yeah. Hole number 14 of the South Europe International. It's a high shot kind of round, and since the trees are there in the way, you do wanna hook as hard as you can in order not to hit the trees, and you wanna go really high, and then basically hope for the best. Let's see if we make it past the trees. We do. We are not in an optimal position, but we do have a birdie attempt going. We are going uphill first, but then we are going downhill after. So we might just want to do optimal power here. We compensated too much for the hill. Yep. And that cost us the birdie. Too bad. Hitting a par on 14 in Europe means that we won't have enough lives for the rest of the balls. Or the rest of the play, that's for sure. We slide down, and hole number 15 means that you have a huge hill to get on top of. You won't be able to make it. Nobody can make that distance. Oh, we shouldn't do full power though. But we do want to go high. There's a hill. Good safety. Avoid the tree. And go hard, since the wind is 4 meters a second ahead of us. We have a headwind. Yeah, too much wind. And that out of bounds. And that 1-stroke penalty is gonna kill the round. Less wind though, so we get a bit of a helping hand from the game. We don't need to go as high, I suppose. When you go super high, the wind is gonna affect you more, I think. And we keep hitting it into the damn water. Wonder if we can make it with a straight shot. Nah, it's gonna hit the tree. That's that. Yeah, we're gonna see the game over screen here. Since we are purple stream, we are gonna lose and we're gonna get a penalty. And that's all the credits we wanted to spend here on Europe. Let's take a look at one of the other courses, so 3 credits, and see how far we can make it. Let's give you another character. Fernando Almeida in USA, and he's the nothing but power drives guy. So this dude should have problems everywhere besides the green. But look at these drives, look at the meter there. It's a fast meter, it's hard to hit. And the curve indicator there, or the curve meter, is also very small. So definitely a hard character to play as. And as you see, this is second course. and we already have much more wind. Playing a power golfer is fine as long as the courses are easy. And look at that putt meter. Very rough. And even on a regular power, we almost overshoot the hole. So you see the huge difference between characters here. Yeah, we made a birdie, but the course is dead simple. Second course basically teaches you to hit hard here. Beautiful vista though. Couldn't get the full power. We hit it hard though. Not all the way to the sand trap, which is good. And now we have to hook a little to avoid the tree. Wind is gonna help, so compensate a little for wind. And do a little bit underpowered. Okay, full power. And a good approach. So even with our mediocre putting skills, or subpar putting skills, we should be able to do this. It's just that the meter moves very fast. And a Robert Lando, the meter doesn't move as fast. So, well, it is what it is. Double birdie. Good start. No licensed golfers here, so a very video game golfing game. Slice a little, 140, so we would be a little hard. So we compensate. And we get that animation screen there, hitting the palm tree. Now we are in trouble. Like I said, being in front of a tree is a problem. 60 is halfway, so we need to do less than full power. And let's go low since we are under a tree. Made it. We can scrounge a par here. Hopefully. Yep. High it is. I like the little detailed animations there with the ball on the close-up, hitting the hole. It's pretty precise the way it animates. And the same goes for the little animations on the trees. Well, they're not as precise, but they are cool little animations when you hit a tree or a trap or something. Almost missed. Wanted to get to the left of that bunker. Did not. Getting out of the bunker here. A definite problem for our power golfer. I hit it, just barely. So second strike wasn't very good due to the trap. And you see how tiny the meter is on the trap. That's because of the low skill. Third shot is actually full power shot. And as I said, I overshoot. Yeah. Maybe a Robert Lando it would have been good. So, third shot is actually 100% shot. Yep, 100% that would have worked. Okay, account for the shape and the grain and do one under. We did 2 under and it didn't go in. Oh. And for these gimme shots, you can just spam the button.
Penalty for overpar.
So rest 0 holes. First continuing. We are all even on the 5th course. Here. We might hit the bunker or the sand trap again. Let's see how it goes. We go a little high to go over that hill. Going low here is a death sentence. You're gonna hit the hill on the side and you're gonna be in front of that hill. Not a good time. So 50% is for 60 yards and we're at 88. So let's do 3/4 and go high to stop the shot early. If you get just an inch closer there, a little bit closer, and you're gonna get an animation. Okay. So we got a birdie. If you hit your approaches, you are going to hit eagles in this game. Get +2s, I think, for lives. Pretty rare. But very demoralizing if you are playing the VS mode gameplay. Let's slice hard. I hope we get past the sand. Come on. Yeah. Hit it good. And that's the tiny satisfaction and tiny frustration that comes with this game. You do a good job and you pick up a tiny bit of satisfaction. Overall, I would consider this a very relaxing kind of game, a Saturday afternoon kind of game. It's not very serious, it doesn't take itself too seriously, I feel. I mean, it's not that it's outright, like, jokingly funny. But with the shapes of the courses, for example, later in the game, it gets a little bit crazier. And the characters are very comic in their appearance. So I don't think it as a very serious golf simulator kind of game. I mean, there are so many games like that with the Tiger Woods and the PGA Pro Tour golf games, and all the Lynx games, for example, that this feels like a proper video game instead of a golf simulator. Yeah, that should be good. It is. Now you're starting to see the weirder shapes for the greens, so this is already a crazy shape for a green. We did an overpower shot, and it doesn't curve in, and now we have another more difficult putt ahead of us. Pity we missed that. Yeah, should have done regular par. The grain would have affected us more. Blues alive. Continue the game though. Okay, so look at the map screen here. It's 400 yards to the water, or the river there. So we know that we can drive as hard as we please. And we might make it past the traps here. Unfortunately, we were not able to do a close enough approach, and now we have to do a nasty safety, so man, is this gonna suck. It's less than 120, I feel, to the edge of the river. Had we gotten here, or close to here with the, maybe we would have gone as far as we are now, but definitely closer with the drive, we could have gone for the eagle. It's possible with the power golfer here. Make it, come on, make it. It's a difficult approach. Definitely a harder approach than on the first course that you can select. Definitely harder than any of those. So we are gonna get a curve to the right of the screen and maybe to the left a little bit. I think it's gonna all even out a little. Oh, underpower. That's a mistake. Yeah, we had two opportunities there. Drive further, have a chance to hit the eagle with a good approach, and then do the long putt and get a birdie, but we kind of failed those, so it's a par. Hole number 9 has an approach contest. It looks to be very simple, but the shot is actually pretty hard. Since there's a heavy wind, we have to account for that. That's the wind accounted for. And we have to go high in order not to overshoot, but then this can happen. And that's heavy rough, so The second shot is gonna be nasty. Hit the pin. And we are back on the fairway. Here we are not gonna chip. We are gonna putt. And another pin hit. Yeah, a bogey. Closest to the pin approach contest, and we hit the heavy grass. Not great. And that's gonna be our last credit for the hole. Or for the course, not for the hole. Lost the hole, lost the life, and use a credit for the course. So I think we made it to what, 15th? And now we are on our last credit on the 10th. 350 plus, and 230 to the 230 to the sand trap. If I aim for the sand trap, the wind is gonna boost us to the left of it. That's the theory, at least. It's a very high shot. And we hit the rough. But that's fine, we are close. Going out of bounds, that would have been a disaster. Let's see how it goes. Goes good. And I'm enjoying these digitized voice samples in the game. They are actually pretty good sounding. Close enough that that underpart shot won't kill us. And we actually get a birdie. It's a surprisingly short par 4. So a bit of a breather after the challenging stage there. This is a very long one. And since it's 400 yards to the water trap, or to the sand trap, we can actually just go full power here. Wind is gonna push us a little bit. Let's see if I can get the perfect. It's a little bit high. ...320 yards, so that should be the longest drive. Yep. Get a little congratulatory screen here. And an extra hole. I wonder if we can make it with the wind helping us. We are almost at the green. And now we get a our real first close approach attempt. So this is the shortest club that we have. It's gonna hit for 60 there and 30 on the 1/4, so let's go over it. And we have a bit of a wind here. Hit the pin, so good approach. On a par 5, that approach is gonna give us a birdie opportunity. Can't overshoot. Hey! Almost out of coffee here. Yeah. Christmas holidays have just started here in Finland. So it's a relaxing game to start the holidays off with. Okay, look at the hole number 12. First real crazy hole of the game. We are going up on this tiny island in a waterfall. I mean, boating there after you hit the ball. Going to the other side of the waterfall and then taking a boat there. Super dangerous. It's a miserable hole since we can't go super high with our poor technical control skills. We needed to do a little bit of a harder hit. The ball didn't make it. Maybe this works. We are just able to stop it. With another character here, you can actually stop the ball better, since you can go a little bit higher. And this is already a bogey putt. So, a very, very hard hole. Yeah, double bogey. Too bad we hit the water. The attempt was pretty good. You don't lose 2 lives on a double bogey, so that's a relief. Maybe then getting a eagle won't give you 2 lives, maybe it's just 1 life for any contests and 1 life for the success there. Look at the wind, it's 9 to the right, and that's already what I would consider heavy wind. I think we are gonna be on the right side of that sand trap when we hit. We are gonna be directly in the sand trap, with that said. Okay. We are never gonna make it. The sand trap eats distance. We are never gonna make it to 200 yards. Not in a million years. We had 120, so it's roughly a 50% reduction in strength. Third shot on a par 4. And still the wind is hard. And the wind pushed us into a nasty position. The ball is gonna be pushed down on the screen by the grain, so we need to compensate by going this way. Strength, no other option, just go directly at it. And I overcompensated for the grain. And that's another bogey.
Penalty for overpar.
And that's all she wrote with those points. Yeah. When the game came out in Finland, arcade games used to cost 2 marks for a game, and you got 3 games for 5 marks. That's usually what I got when I went to play the games. I was given maybe 2 marks, or if I was lucky, I would get 5 marks to play with. So I do enjoy playing games with just the with just the 5 marks or 3 credits. Okay, let's do Fujiyama Oriental Golf Club in Japan with the British golfer. And as you see, with this very technically capable golfer, all the meters are very slow moving. So we have overall an easier time, and if you are playing to 1 credit this game, or if you want to make sure you go as far as you can with as little money as possible, why not choose a good golfer instead of a bad golfer, yeah? Makes the game that little bit easier. And with these old arcade games, you definitely want every advantage you can get. You cannot skip screens here, so you are gonna see all of these screens when you play. But this is now my what? 7th credit, and we've been playing for 44 minutes. So for your money, even on an arcade cabinet, you're definitely getting your money's worth on Neo Turf Masters. Didn't check the distance on the map screen to the sand trap, but I don't think we're gonna make it that far. Either that, or we're gonna be on the right side of that bunker. Straight in the second bunker, of course. Okay. We are deep in the... Yeah, that's another thing to check, is how deep the ball is in the sand there. I mean, you have this little preview on the bottom right. And if the ball is super deep into the sand, it's gonna eat more of your distance. So a little bit of granularity in the game in that sense. Had a spin there, but it wasn't enough, and now we are on the fairway. We'll do yet another putting attempt here. And it's too far. Almost made it, by the way. For that par save. We are gonna take the penalty here with a bogey putt down.
Penalty for overpar.
No. Okay, now we are high. And we are high on a 200-yard approach. It means we don't have to hit as far. And we don't have to avoid the trees purposefully. We just account for the wind. And since we are high, we are gonna hit 200 spot on. And to stop the ball, go a little high. Should be good. Didn't account for the wind enough. Distance was pretty on the nose. But we had a little wind here. Oh, it might fall short. Doesn't. Works. Didn't get the contest win, but did get the birdie. So +2 here is definitely a possibility with a great approach. But we get the +1 and don't use our credit immediately. Yet another waterfall approach. Developers getting some mileage out of this kind of beautiful graphics engine that they've built. The waterfall graphics so are pleasing. And we make it over. Getting the extra power meter here would have been great. We hook as hard as we can to avoid the trees. And we are gonna do a little less than 100% here. Yeah, we hooked a little too hard. But it's difficult to estimate those hooks and slices. You have to build up to them, so you have to know what happens when you do a hook or a slice. Only way to do that is through experience. And there you see the granularity of the animations. I hit it just a little too hard. Missed the birdie, but a shame that. And there you hear the hard ringing sound effect for the putt. It means that we were almost too hard on the putt. Yep, first continuing, and that's well before the 9th. So probably not gonna make it to the end, even on 3 credits. Hook a little bit. Do a nice full power strike. And let it roll down. Didn't make it to the shortcut crash there. We hit the rough, so we're not gonna be able to make the approach. You'll need to strike the 3rd shot as an approach. And we are aiming for the flag on the minimap. We are not aiming for the flag on the gameplay screen. That's important. It's 78, but it's on a hill, so we are gonna do almost full power. And we are gonna go real high. A little too much on the bar. Here, it's downhill. So 1 on the par. And the grain pushed us to the left. Didn't account for the grain there. Oh, miss input. Yeah, I'm used to skipping screens by tapping the button. And it's a habit I still keep doing. Even though you can't skip screens in the game. And that cost me a strike. Down on the scoreboard. Not doing super great here in Japan. Account for the wind, don't overshoot, and have a nice low drive. That's a fine approach. Yeah, I think it's possible on the Power Golfer to get a green drive here and go for the eagle, but it's a super hard hit. So a 50-60, that's a 60. A nice shot. Almost. Get a voice sample as a reward. And a spam should be good enough. It is. Got the birdie. Yay! Okay, here we need to do 200 yards, and we need to get past that hill. To do that, we need to curve the ball a bit. So that's a hook. And we can go as hard as we please, since there is a little bit of a wind. So we get a good drive. Hit the fairway. Let the ball bounce. And we can do a second shot. The wind is a little bit against us. So we can do 100% here. Maybe go a little high. I think we're coming in a little too hot. So whatever happens on the first meter, you can compensate a little bit on the second meter, but you can't save a total disaster of a strike. No grain here, so a regular put should do. Yep. Easy bird. But that's all possible to the rather good drive. Had I hit the rough on the drive, we wouldn't have been able to get an easy birdie at least. Okay, it's 300 yards to the bend. So, or maybe 250, 260 to the bend. So the important thing here is not to hit the sand trap. Other than that, I don't think we are gonna make it to the water, even if we do this. And here we cannot go directly to the hole. We can hook a little bit, so it's an easier time to keep it on the green. I'll keep it on the fairway. That works. Got past the trees. And now we have a birdie approach here. Compensate for that 1 meter a second of wind and don't do full power. It's much, that's a lot. Let's go high. Yeah, at least the ball did a roll. Ideally, you want to be on the front of the green here, since now we have to contend with that hill. But we can. Okay. Getting birdies on the par 4s is a crapshoot. The par 5s are easier, and then some of the par 3s are really difficult. So I feel that getting the birdies on these par 5s is the best opportunity you get. Hole number 9 has a contest. No, it doesn't. But it's a simple approach. You're high, and you have only just a little bit of wind. So less than full power, and go very high. Because we are overshooting. Just a little too high there. But you get the idea. Compensate with the second meter. That's overshooting it. It's not. It made it. Close enough. I thought I'd overshoot. Keeping the credit alive by hitting the birdies. I could do with a contest here. We made the first 9 holes with 1 continue. There's wind here. Wind is probably gonna make us dodge that sand trap, I hope. It is, and is it gonna give us on the green? On the fairway now? It's rough. We won't be able to get the ball onto the green now. We have a decent approach, but that's gonna be a par and we're gonna lose our credit. Unless we get this lucky cheap shot in. Go low that the wind doesn't affect us as much. Works on the green, but we still have to make a putt for par. Grain helps us compensate for the hill, maybe. So go 1 over par if we can hit it. Yes, that's the way. Yeah, strong grain. And it's a bogey. So that's the last of that credit. One last credit for the Japanese course. And see how far we make. Yeah, I skipped the screen. I shouldn't do that. In this game you shouldn't skip the map screen. It's definitely a bad habit of mine. I was a little frustrated with the bogey and I started spamming the button, so we don't have an accurate read. We don't have an accurate read on the length here. Length of the shot. Did a good job anyway. And now we have to consider the second river. So we wanna hit here near the bend. And we don't wanna go full power, def not. So maybe something like this is okay. Come on, make it over. It does. So playing it safe on a par 5, getting two approach shots, getting a drive and an approach is fine. We can make it on the green. It's on the far edge. Let's try it like this. Okay, we made it on that little hill that the hole is sitting on, so we should have an easy putt here. Just make the meter. And we should have a birdie. Okay, starting off strong on the last credit. Now I didn't skip the map screen, and we see that it's 250 to the water. 278 for the longest drive is already in the water. So we do have to consider the wind and the water. We can aim it at the edge of the water and let wind push us to the left just a little bit. And for the longest drive, maybe have an optimal shot. It's a little low. Then let the ball roll, but we won't get the prize here. And now we have a long approach. We'll try for the approach. Didn't make it. There's not a lot of rough to contend with, just a little bit. So a short chip will do. It's possible to make those chips in the hole. Not easy though. Grain will push us to the right, and the gradient will push us to the left, so maybe just a little bit. Yeah. And a regular put, maybe. No! Didn't account for the hill enough. The grain is not that strong. And with that, it's a bogey. Yeah, we did great in the beginning of the second half of the course, and now we are gonna drop it. Unless I keep doing these birdies. This is the last life. Okay. So 200 to the sand trap and 300. So if we do this, we might be in the sand. If we do this, we might be in the tree. If we do this and do it a little bit short, we might be... If we do this, we might be in front of the sand trap. Come on, do it. No, it's not powerful enough. And now we are in the heavy rough. Heavy rough is gonna eat roughly half of the shot at least. The biggest that we can do is 200. Let's put it here in case we miss. We're gonna be still on the course and not in the water. Okay, saved it. There you see the caddy recommending rubbish clubs again. I missed the button. How's that for frustrating? Save the credit there by doing a good approach and then lose it on the par. Yeah, no holes left. Okay, that's Japan, and I'll show you the last course of the game. Let's do the final 3 credits there for a total of 12 credits. And see what the last course looks like. And let's go back to Robert Lando. Australia, the Blue Lagoon Golf. And we get a easy course to start with, of course. ...293 yards with the wind pushing against us. So we are gonna lose some yardage here. It's too hard, so we go high. And that leaves us with a reasonable putting opportunity here. But Robert has a strong putt, that's why I prefer playing as Robert. And that should be good. Okay, let's look at the map here. It's 200 yards to the left dogleg, or the bend there. So we can hook it just a little bit and go as far as we please. Shouldn't hit the water. We have 130 left, so we should have a good club with. And the wind, we have a wind at our back, so let's compensate for that a little bit, and we didn't. Man, am I bad at compensating for the wind. But that's a solid approach. 1 yard left. I won't spam it, I'll try to hit the meter dead on. You only want to spam the putt if you're very sure that you can make it, so when you are less than 1 yard in, when you're very close. Otherwise there's a risk of running short. It's possible. And here we have a short approach, really short approach. 150, but it's on a hill. So compensate for the hill and go high. That's the game plan. Let's hope this shot makes it. It does. We are just a tad over. Had we hit the 100% on the nose, we would have been good. Compensate a little for the gradient and go under power. And that's a birdie. Feels good. Starting off strong. But Australia is going to pick up in difficulty. Pretty much starting now, I think, if I remember correctly. It's 250 to the sand trap, so there's a definite risk of hitting the sand trap. If we aim for the sand trap, the wind is gonna push us to the right of it. And we don't have... We do have enough power to make it to the water even. So I don't think we want to do that. We want to make it to the right side of that sand trap. Not even close. I was a little too scared of the sand. But doing this leaves us with a birdie opportunity. And going the other route, just overshooting it, definite chance of a water hit. So this keeps us in the game. Here on the Australian course 4, it's definitely possible to hit an eagle. Just have a guy with a good drive and go hard at it. It's a pitiful shot, really a pitiful shot. We made it to the fairway, but the fourth shot is not gonna make it in. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I absolutely have no idea what I'm doing here. On a hill like that, the more you compensate, the more you have to continue compensating since you are running further along the edge of that hill, if it makes sense. And while I did recompensate for the hill, I didn't continue doing it. And that was a bad position to be at for the pot. Here, you have to clear almost 260 yards in the air to be able to make it past the water. Instead, we are gonna hook it hard and do maybe 230 yards. Maybe this gets past the sand and not into the water. It's in the water. Man. I had the correct idea then, but we get the 1-stroke penalty regardless. And we can go hard here. We can go hard with a high shot. Make it over the trees and let the ball stop. Had we made it to the edge of the water, this would be a birdie putt. Now it's a par putt. Yeah, at least we get the par putt, but that's still gonna cost us a lot. It's the first credit. We started off strong, kinda lost some steam there. Let's see if we can pick it back up. 200 to the bend. So we can slice it hard. And maybe not overshoot. Overshooting here is bad. Yeah, hitting the tree is not a huge problem, since an approach is an approach, as long as it's on the fairway. So taking a safety here will leave us with a birdie opportunity. That's good actually. We are on the hill side here of the green, but that's gonna push us a tiny bit left and the green is gonna do left. So those are all even. Let's do a regular putt and hope it goes in. It does! The green didn't murder us and we got the birdie. Happy to have that close approach to get that easy birdie putt. Okay, so call it 275 to water. We can just hit it between these sand traps. There's actually a gaming thing here. If you hit those rocky islands, the ball is actually gonna bounce super hard. Well, this being the last credit here, let's see if I can showcase that. Let's try to hit the tiny island here on the water. Almost. I'll try to show it again. Let's see if I hit the little island. Yeah, that's the longest try we can get here. I wanted to do that. Well, second try. And if you want to do with one wood, you have to hit a perfect nice, otherwise it's not gonna be... not even gonna be possible. So we're not gonna go one wood on a regular course. We are gonna go hard, and actually a little too hard. It's like a 10% increase if you do the special end of the meter there. That's our 5th shot, so we are gonna waste a credit here. And let's not overshoot. Ah! Didn't make it on the hill. That's gonna be like a 6th shot hole. Bogey! So, I hope this gives you an overview of what Neo Top Masters is like. It's the only golfing game I'm willing to play, that's for sure. 180. And it's arcadey enough for me to enjoy this. If you want to play this game on your own, the easy way to do it is to download Fightgate 2, but you do have to find the ROM for the game. There's a script online that automatically downloads ROMs for you. I think that's considered piracy, so I'm not gonna give you. So, giving you an overview of piracy, maybe not the greatest idea here online, but just, you know, look for the ROM online, it's super easy. And then Fightgate 2 includes all the emulation that you need, so it's easy to play this game that way. Hope we don't hit the water actually. We don't. Oh, we are actually super much overpowered. Didn't account for the wind enough. That spin is gonna save us from going over, but it doesn't leave us with a great putt. Will that work? It will not. I overcompensated. We had a birdie opportunity here, and we kinda squandered it. So, for 1v1 play against a friend, going at a par pace is pretty good, you know. You keep your score at 0 pretty much throughout the game, with an occasional birdie. And just wait for your opponent to do a mistake. And that's good enough against a human opponent. But then against the life counter ticking down, doing these low credit arcade runs, you kinda wanna be on a birdie pace. Consistent birdie pace. But I do feel that with some practice, this is one of the easier arcade games to 1 credit or low credit. You don't have to do heavy credit feeding in order to play Neo Top Masters. And I think, of course, if you want to spend a little money, this game has been released on various platforms as a re-release. Misread them. I spammed while I shouldn't have. Yeah, that's all she wrote. And I think we have pretty much played as much as we want to play here. It's a game where an hour session is starting to feel kinda long. It's a good golf game, and it's not a super gimmicky game. It is just what it is, and I feel, at least for me, that playing for more than an hour tends to get a little bit repetitive. Maybe the courses could be a little more fantastical, I suppose. Okay, got a good approach. So I don't necessarily feel that the game builds frustration. And there are little moments of successes here and there. And there's a feeling of progression with your own skills at least. But the courses are, except for these few kind of magical courses, they are a little bit repetitive. That's for sure. So the major enjoyment in this game comes out of the fact that you see your own skills improving. And you feel yourself getting better. But it doesn't always feel like you beat a major challenge. So it kind of gets just a little bit repetitive. So I wouldn't spend a huge amount of money on the game. I don't think if you want to buy the arcade card for yourself, if you have an arcade cabinet, it's not the most expensive game out there, that's for sure. It's a pretty popular game for these old arcade games. Comparatively, I mean, there is much rarer stuff out there. And while it is my favorite golf game, it's not a super interesting game. So I wouldn't be playing this every day, if that makes any sense again. Overshot, come on, go down. They went the rough. I think I've been in the same rough before, and we have to overshoot to make that green. We made the green. We have a hard birdie attempt here to keep the run alive. We have to go over that hill, so we have to spend a little bit of energy to go over it, but not much. And we have to compensate for the shade, and we overcompensated, and that cost us the birdie, forced us into a par, and that means we are done for the credit. That was our last life. So with that, I hope I've given you a nice overview on how Neotopia Masters feels. It's available on home consoles, I think, and of course on Fightgate too if you find the ROM online. With that, I hope you have a happy holiday, and hope to see you online, especially later with the Magical Drop 3 stuff that's coming, and then of course some fighting game stuff coming up. But that's all she wrote for today. Bye!